Cody the quarter horse. Actually, do you know his name's not Cody? His name is Leo the Wimp. That's his real name, Leo the Wimp. But we'll get on to his alias because I had a request from a subscriber and kindly person said, how about some information about Cody? So Cody is an American quarter horse, and I've already made a video about American quarter horses and how they originated, and I will link that at the end of this video. You'll be able to go and find out more information about how the quarter horses came about. They stem from 11 original stallions. Those stallions were registered, and you could only be a quarter horse if you used one of those 11 to breed from. That's where it all stems from. And in 1941, a group of people that were big on quarter horses decided they were going to create a register so that people couldn't be shonky and say they had a quarter horse when they didn't really have one. Step in, mate, this is all about you. Step in, step in, step in. This is all about you. So they decided to create a register. There was a competition to see who was going to be the very first stallion in this book, this register, the American Quarter Horse Association Register. So they had this competition, and terrific stallions were there. You can look this all up. Wimpy eventually won. And one of the reasons that Wimpy won is because they say that when he came into the ring for the first show, he was trotting at a trot that seemed to be gliding over the ground like he was going on eggs, not trying to break them, that his head was down at wither height, and he was just cruising along. So if you've seen some of our shorts, when you've seen me out riding Cody, one of the things you might have noticed is how his head is down so low on a really loose rein. So that's one of the... Don't be shy, this is all about you. So that's a little bit of a nutshell on the American quarter horses. Anyone that breeds quarter horses, the big thing about breeding, of course, is what's important to have. Stallions, so that you can continue breeding, or mares, so that you can continue breeding. And of course, they are worth huge sums of money. Now, in Cody's case, I should put some ear protection on him so that he can't hear, that he isn't in that realm of being super mega expensive, because yes, his name is Leo the Wimp, because his great granddaddy was Wimpy, that champion and the first registered in the American Quarter Horse book, the register. But Cody is a gelding. All jokes to one side, Cody's a gelding. So yes, he is a pure American quarter horse, but his value is not out of the reach of the average human being, because he's a gelding and you can ride him, you can compete in him, you can have great fun on him. He's got all the qualities, the speed, the stamina, but you can't breed from him. So therefore breeders don't have to worry that you're going to go into competition with them, breeding wise. So $3.5 grand this boy cost over 10 years ago. I'm very happy to pay that price. Got him when he was about 3.5, so now he's about 14. He would sort of be late teens now, I guess you'd say, if you were trying to equivalent him to a human, late teens, 20, something like that. And when it comes to what is important in an American quarter horse, if you've looked at photos of Cody, you will see that he's exactly what you're looking for. Fairly short in the leg, fairly stocky, massive stamina, huge spurts of speed from stationary. This boy's 15.3, so the average for an American quarter horse is supposed to be around 15.3, so he's pretty much spot on for the height. And at the moment, it's very windy outside, so we're in the shed. Just try and stay out of the wind, but it's winter, midwinter. So his coat at the moment is a bit like a polar bear. Well, it's not white, but it's fluffy, very fluffy boy at the moment. So I don't know if we can get this in. Just step in a minute, mate. Just step in a minute. Just step. Step in a minute. You're going to step. Come on, step in. One more, come on. He's showing me up. He's usually so good. So what I'm getting at is his coat at the moment is so fluffy. You just want to bury yourself in that lovely fluffy coat, and it smells so good. Oh, the smell, the fair dinkum, the smell of a horse, everything about a horse, the smell of a horse, the smell of a sweaty horse. Anyway, so where were we? It was supposed to be a quick one just about Cody. American quarter horse, roughly 14. Now I have to confess, I didn't buy him, I didn't choose him. I had an American quarter horse that I was doing team roping with, cutting, camp drafting, doing those sports chasing, various sports chasing cows and roping cows. And so I had this most amazing horse, quarter horse, American quarter horse, called Poco. He was fantastic. I didn't have to do anything. So we could go to an event, a cutting event, where I had to keep the cow back against the wall, and I would just hang on to that saddle horn and just sit there. And old Poco did it. If you've ever seen those horses that hold a cow, well, Poco, I did nothing. He did it all because he was brilliant. But anyway, I decided to give up team roping, and so Poco was a horse way beyond what I needed. When you look back in life, I sold him. Really, I shouldn't have, because he was a fabulous horse. Who cared if he didn't do cow stuff anymore? But what happened is my wife saw this boy, 3.5 years old. He was in a paddock with a couple of Shetlands. He was a young boy, just broken in, with a couple of Shetlands, and he thought he was the king of the universe, masters of the universe. So when we first got him, he was, not through any fault of his own, a little bit of a naughty boy. My wife bought him for herself, and he proved to be not suitable for her, and so Poco, I thought, was beyond a horse that I needed. Not because it was wasted. It was like an old man owning a Ferrari or a Formula One car. Just didn't seem silly. So I took over Cody, and we had a few things. I mean, you can't probably tell if I hold my hands up, but I've got a permanently dislocated finger. The boy did that. I got broken ribs. The boy did that in the early days. Threw me clean over his head. Went on a bit of a bucking spree. And they say, lean back, lean back. But on that third big buck, went over his head, was wearing spurs, landed on the ground, completely, had the breath completely knocked out of me. Because I went over his head, landed on my back, I'm lying there, and the funny thing is, the feeling in my head was, wow, I'm paralysed, I can't move, because I couldn't move my legs. So it's funny what happens inside your brain. I was remarkably calm, and I thought I was paralysed. And my wife came running over, and it turns out that I hit the ground, which was pretty hard. I hit the ground with so much force that my spurs went into the ground and had pinned, can you believe that? Had pinned my legs, my boots, to the ground, and I couldn't move my legs, and that's why. So I was winded, and that's why I couldn't move, because my spurs had gone so far into the dirt. So anyway, that was the last day I wore spurs. I still wear, so I wear spurs if I'm doing a police reenactment or a light horse reenactment. That's the only time now I wear spurs. And they are very, very gentle spurs. They've just got little wheels on them, not spikes. Righto. So it probably weighs about 470 kilos. You can do without putting them on the scales, you can do a measurement. You measure them to the withers, ground to withers, then you measure them around the girth, and there's an equation that roughly gives you the horse's weight. At the moment, I would say if you looked at photos of Wimpy, his great-great-great-great granddaddy, and you looked at the lad, apart from the fact that he's woolly, he's a bit overweight. He does not chase cows nearly enough. Doesn't chase cows at all, ever anymore. And we never used to chase sheep. We would only be moving the sheep. You don't want to chase the sheep. So there you go. Lance, thank you for asking that question. Probably gone on too long. Cody, American Quarter Horse, about 14, 15-3 hands, getting on towards 500 kilos, and super intelligent. And I'm going to link now the other video about the Quarter Horse. Thanks, Lance. Cheers.